Ever have leftover rice and you have no idea what to do with it? No problem. This is rice that I just put into this pot and I made it last night, and you can tell it looks a little dry, but that's okay because we're gonna spruce it right up with a super creamy, homey dessert that's just gonna make you sing. Okay, we're gonna make rice pudding, a country staple, a family favorite, and here's how you do it. So what I'm gonna do is take this rice, and it looks like I have about 1 3/4 cups of rice, give or take, and I'm gonna eyeball the milk, and I wanna pour some milk into this pot, just enough to barely cover the rice. So here we go. So I'd say this is probably about 1 cup of milk. Close that up, turn the heat on to medium. Let me get my spoon here. You know what, I got one right here. Okay, and I'm gonna start to break up these clumps, and it's a little easier, and the rice isn't gonna pop up at you if you have liquid in the pot whenever you're breaking up the rice. So we're gonna break this up just a little bit and let the milk start to come to a simmer. We have just enough milk to cover the rice in here, and all of the grains are separated, and separated as best as can be because, you know, rice is a starch, so some of it's gonna wanna stick together. And this is just enough liquid. It's absolutely perfect to go ahead and make a beautiful creamy bread pudding. Now this rice has already been steamed, it's already been cooked. So it's not so much going to absorb the milk as it is going to release even more starches. And that's what gives you that creamy consistency. All right. So into our mixture, I'm gonna put 1/3 cup of granulated sugar and 1/3 cup of brown sugar. There we go, just like that. Mix it all up and let it start to come to a simmer. To this, we're gonna add a pinch of salt, about 1/4 teaspoon. Solid pinch, right there. That's a great flavor. Needs a tiny bit of a booster, and you can add vanilla, you can add almond, you can add whatever flavorings you want. I'm feeling like a pirate. So I want to put about 1 tablespoon of spiced rum. That'll do. That can stay there for now. Mix it up. And the beautiful thing about putting the rum in, or the important thing about putting the rum in early on, is that the alcohol is going to cook off. So you're not going to be hit with a really hard, abrasive alcohol taste. You're just going to get the sweet and spicy notes of the rum. It's beautiful. Okay, let this simmer. Things are simmering and bubbling, and it's about time to add on. All right, here we go. So now we're gonna go ahead and add on the rest of our spices to make this absolutely incredible. First thing I wanna add is 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon. So 1 tablespoon is 3 teaspoons, and that's exactly what I'm gonna go with here. 1. I'm gonna add just a pinch of nutmeg because nutmeg is very strong and it goes very, very far. So 1/8 of a teaspoon will do. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of ground ginger. Okay. And this is just going to give it just a little bit of an extra spice. And lastly, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of allspice, ground allspice. Actually, we're going to go with 1.5 teaspoons. So 1.5. All right. Then I want to add another 1/4 teaspoon of salt because it's just going to make everything pop. So here we go, mix it all up. Oh, and we're gonna mix up all of the spices into our rice pudding mixture. Here we are. I've got the heat set to low. I'm gonna give this one more taste. Ooh. This is gonna be really, really super hot. So be sure and taste it carefully. Delicious. One more thing. Now to really enhance the flavors of the cinnamon and the ginger, I'm gonna add just maybe 1/4 cup of apple juice. Because it's fall. It's fall, y'all. Why not? Put in a little apple juice, and not only will it give a brighter flavor to the cinnamon and the ginger, It's also gonna lighten up the dish. All right, so what's gonna happen now is we're going to get our lid and close this up, and we're gonna let this just cook on super low heat, as low as you can possibly go, for about 10 minutes. And we're gonna come back and stir it up and add one more finishing touch before it's ready to serve up. 10 minutes have come and gone, and here we are. Beautiful, creamy rice pudding right there. All right, we're gonna kill the heat and then transfer this to a heat-proof bowl. There we are. Just gonna go ahead and pour this in. And if there's a little bit stuck to the bottom, that's okay. That's honestly, personally, those are my favorite pieces. Okay. Nice big bowl of rice pudding. We have one more ingredient to add to it, and that's going to be half a stick of cold butter. And I want it cold because it's gonna stop the cooking process and help it thicken up that much faster and make it that much creamier. All right, so you just drop half a stick of butter into the bowl right here, and we're gonna fold it in until all of the butter is melted. We have a beautiful, smooth and creamy and hot rice pudding right here. Woo! It's nice and thick, kind of like the consistency of a risotto, of a good risotto. All right, if you like to eat it warm, it's ready to serve now. All of the flavors are really gonna condense, and it's gonna super thicken up whenever it's in the refrigerator. So good. To put it in the refrigerator, I'm gonna get a piece of saran wrap and put it over the top and press down onto the surface of the rice pudding so that way a skin doesn't form. Chill it in the refrigerator until it's nice and cool, ready to serve. Perfect with whipped cream, with sliced peaches, with caramel sauce, or just as is. You guys, it was always a treat whenever my grandfather would make rice pudding. And that certainly hasn't changed. His flavor brings me right back to his kitchen. So from his kitchen to my kitchen, Kitchen Bravo, to yours, bon appetit.